Okay, so meanwhile the page is getting loaded. So on the every configuration page as well, we have got this chapter settings button. So if we click on it, it will give us view that at which particular chapter, how this context source is being used.
When you're in the main, I guess, database for the chapters, is there a way of telling which database a contact has come from?
Sorry, I could not hear the question completely.
So when you're in the main database of the chapter, is there a way of telling which database a contact has come from?
Yeah, there will be.
Where is that going to be? Is it going to be a part
So
of the contact source?
it's going to be available in reporting,
Okay.
not anywhere else, because the rest of the implementation is pretty similar, regardless of whether it's chapter or sub-chapters. Chapter will get a few additional options, but we are not touching, the contact list and stuff like that.
I almost think that there should be addition to the contact source, like you add a prefix that has the chapter that it came from. So you still have the contact source, but you just add on a prefix.
I think the better implementation would be a smart tag. Then it can be used in advanced searches, it can be used anywhere, and it doesn't confuse it with the source itself.
Terry?
The question is, when I'm looking at a contact list, would we be able to display that smart tag that would then allow us to filter by that smart tag as well?
Filter by smart tag is available, or display the smart tag would be, because it then would be available to all our clients as well, and I'm not sure whether the clients would like to have all the smart tags to be displayed in the list or not.
Why can't we just create that smart tag when somebody initiates the subchapter creation?
If we want
Michael,
to do that,
Michael, did you run into something about reporting on tags recently that would relate?
Yeah, the only limitation with using tags is the ability to exclude by tag. It's very easy to run a search or report and include by tag, but it's very hard to exclude by tag because most clients have more than one tags. So those other tags will make the client eligible for the search or report, even if you're trying to exclude by one of the values. There isn't a search function that says not any tag that works.
I think as long as we stick to the contact information, you have a way to use our advanced search for that.
Yeah, you can search for tag, and that'll work.
No, what he's saying is that he wants all tags, say, except one tag. And so when you're doing an advanced search, the question is, yeah, I can include tags, but can I just exclude one tag or exclude two tags?
No, I think his question is, I would like to have all the contacts who doesn't have this particular tag.
So it does not include.
Right. Is that correct, Michael?
Yeah, you currently cannot do that.
We can through our advanced search, right?
No, it does not work, because if the contact has another tag, let's say I have two tags. I have chapter tag and I have donor tag, and I want to exclude by chapter tag. If I put in my search criteria, is not in chapter tag, that contact will still be reported because they have another tag called donor, and that donor tag is not in chapter tag, so it qualifies.
So you are mixing two things. So right now, are we talking about the reporting or the search available in CRM?
Both.
Search available in CRM should work, and if it's not, it's a bug.
If I have a contact with two tags and I write a search to report people who don't have one of those tags, it's going to report that contact because he has two tags, and the second tag he has is not the one I'm filtering out for, and they'll still be on my report. I've got tickets for this. I've got clients who have trouble trying to work with tags in reports, and when they try to exclude by tag in search or in report, they get bad results. There's no ability to say, look at all the tags, and if any one of these tags is this value, exclude this contact. There's no way of doing it currently.
Even if it works in advanced search, Nahir, there's limitations to dropping an advanced search into a report, which we've talked about. You can't apply other filters.
Right.
So I would think that maybe applying a tag and a smart tag to tag the chapter contacts or the source is maybe not going to be the best option, because I think that's people are going to start running into reporting issues in that case.
No. So I think, yeah, I never agreed that we are going to apply smart tag for chapters or for the list. I would rather have an additional column for the chapter list, because smart tag, what Lomesh is suggesting, I need to hard code that particular smart tag, particularly to work with chapter. And if I need to do that, I would rather include one of the fields for the source of the, and when I say source of the contact, I not necessarily mean the contact source, but I mean what is the origin? Yeah, what is the origin of this contact?
So coming back, so let's go through these subchapters first, and then if we have time, let's touch base on the whole exclude on the reporting side of the tags.
Yeah.
Rachna, is your internet stabilized now?
I think she just dropped out.
Yeah.
We
might have to reschedule if Rachna is having internet trouble.
Rachna, you there?
Can somebody else take over? Or no? We only have 25 minutes left anyways.
So yeah, let me just brief about what she was supposed to demo. We have already seen the chapter setup, right? There is similar edit operation, edit the chapter, but with limited capabilities to edit. The stuffs which you have already selected for copy or share would not be editable. The user information, that means the admin user you have created, will not be available to edit, because you have an account option to go through and create more users or edit the existing users. Other than that, I think everything is editable. So all the basic information mainly is editable. And the options which you have not selected, which you have skipped during the chapter setup, would be editable.
And this is at the chapter level, or no, this is at the parent level.
Yeah, this is at the parent level. And then we have introduced chapter setting buttons, which she was, she was demoing. That particular chapter setting button is available to parent chapter. So whenever parent chapter goes to any of the configurations, you'll see this kind of screen where it will display the information that in which chapter this context source is shared and in which chapter this context source is copied, just for the information in case the parent chapter would like to see how the chapters are being set up by configurations. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Then there is a third thing, membership levels. In membership levels, if the membership level, when you create a new membership level, you have an option to copy that particular membership to the chapters which are configured to be copied for membership levels. So that screen is available now in membership levels. That's when you are creating new membership level, that's going to be the last tab. And when you are in the membership level list, it would be the action, one of the action items, chapter settings.
From the parent account, will you be able to toggle between and have access to the subchapters? Or do you have to create? I said from the parent account, will you be able to toggle between the subchapters, or do you have to create your own login for the subchapters?
So if you yourself has configured to be part of the subchapters, you will get similar screen where switch the screen you are getting as a support user, where switch clients is available and you can switch between the databases.
Okay. And are we doing additions of application user roles or subchapters? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, sorry?
I said, is there going to be special user roles or application roles for subchapters, like permissions?
No, they are going to be the same, right?
Wow. If you're the parent, I would think that there would be some additional security on who can access the subchapters.
That's up to the parent. So it's not security driven, it's user assignment driven. So when you want, so Rachna, can you go to, so over here you can assign the users, right? So these are the users available to the chapter, parent main chapter.
Okay.
And you can assign any of the users to this subchapter. Then whatever securities you would like to restrict, you can go into the subchapter and set up the role component access accordingly.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yep.
Okay.
So can the parents can go into a subchapter database and see their data, even if they're not sharing contacts?
If one of the users of the parent chapter is assigned to the subchapter, then yes. So our security is user driven. So if the user is assigned to the subchapter, the user can see the data.
The only thing I would say about that is this seems to be modeled on an assumption that the subchapter and the parent have an amicable relationship, and that is not always the case. Sometimes there's an adversarial relationship. So, for instance, LCW is a United Way affiliate. United Way wanted more than anything to poach our donors, and we're constantly trying to get us to solicit our donors for their appeals. And we were like, no, we want them to give money directly to us. We don't want them to give it to you. And so at LCW, if we knew that the United Way, if we were going to be using this as a subchapter of United Way, and that United Way could just go into our database and see our data and our donors and then solicit them, we would have had a lot of side eye about that. We would have been like, that's sketchy, and we're not down with that at all.
Yeah, so let me ask you this. So which kind of reports you are sending to United Ways?
We were just sending roll-up data, like number of participants, like outcome and output data. Like we didn't give them any contact info.
Right. So that won't work because our main assumption is that national chapter would have all the contact information to start with.
So I think Terry, in the case that you're talking about, right? You were not really a subchapter of United Way, right? I mean, you were basically partnered with them for a particular program. So it wasn't LCW United Way, right? It was LCW had partnered for a particular program, a federal program, with United Way. And United Way had a deal with the federal government to run that program and report back for the grant. So it's more of a partnership and not really a subchapter. I think when we talk about subchapters, we are referring to your classic structure, right? Like so for example, League of Women Voters, right? So League of Women Voters is a national chapter, right? But they have state chapters, and then the state that report into the national chapter, and then there are local chapters that report into the state chapter. So you have this structure. Now, you know, in a situation like this, like that, you would usually have these subchapters sometimes are forced to use a system so that the national organization can see the roll-up, or they will allow a subchapter to choose their own database, but then they have to report all the numbers in to the national organization. The assumption that we are having over here is that if the national organization is forcing the subchapters to use a database like the Red Cross does, right? Everybody on Red Cross is on a Blackbaud Razor's Edge product, and it all rolls up. In that case, this is the setup. So you can have loose affiliations, and you can have, you know, even within our clients, right? You have Cirrus. Cirrus has like different structures that they have set up. So there is the Cirrus Tennessee, which is, what is it called? Heal something, right?
Heals
to Heal?
yeah.
Is that them?
Yeah, they are out of Tennessee, right? So they are a Cirrus affiliate, right? They are not necessarily a subchapter. But for example, if you look at Marin, or you look at Sonoma, or you look at the new Santa Clara, then those are all subchapters for Cirrus, because Cirrus manages a lot of the financial pieces for them, right? So in that case, you know, the affiliates can buy our software at a discount because of Cirrus, but Cirrus requires that they use it. But there is no roll-up of information. While with Marin, Sonoma, and Santa Clara, there would be a roll-up of information. So I think what you're looking at over here is more to handle situations where the parent organization is requiring that all the subchapters, or they use a particular database for whatever reason. And that can be a situation where, League of Women Voters doesn't force it, though League of Women Voters National has a blackboard contract now. And, so I think that we're going to run, there is no set structure per se, and we're going to run into situations where, like you said, some people are partnering just for a particular program. But I don't see that happening with the CRM side of it, partly because, like if you look at ETO is more of efforts to outcome measurement software, right? And yeah, they have a database CRM piece, but their big piece is the longitudinal studies that it allows you to do. So I don't know. I mean,
yeah, no, I'm not necessarily saying we have to change anything. I'm just, I agree. You kind of covered, it's a spectrum that
right.
subchapters are going to have a spectrum of relationships with their parents, and from very close and everybody's happy to share data to the other end of the spectrum, which is they hate each other and the local chapter does not want the national chapter to have access to their data. So I think it's more just an FYI. Expect there may be pushback from some clients. They may ask about this, and just be aware that not everybody's going to be
right. So Nihir, a quick question. Let's say we run into a situation where a client says, yeah, but some of our subchapters don't share data, some do. Okay?
Right.
How easy would it be to allow a subchapter to switch off data sharing?
Then why do we need to configure it as a subchapter?
No. It could be for a number of different reasons, right? They started out small, right? And they started out as a subchapter. They were brand new, and now they are gathering a lot of steam, right? And they just feel like they no longer want they want to be part of the bigger association, bigger organization, but not necessarily get poached on for money because they are growing themselves. And they might say, hey, I don't want to share my contact records with, we'll provide them the numbers, but not the names, kind of thing. So if there was a situation like that would happen, then what would be would they just basically say, hey, convert this into a regular account?
That's what my suggestion is.
And then we will just provide the numbers?
We won't provide them. That's their job to provide them the numbers.
Right.
Yeah. But it would no longer be subchapter in that case.
So then would they be able to go in and sort of spin out that same account into a regular account?
No, that would be manual stuff. We need to take care of that.
I think we should structurally look at one of two scenarios where they want to stop sharing data but remain as a subchapter, or they want to spin off. They're no longer affiliated with that parent organization. They want to move off on their own. And I'll give you a classic example of where that has already happened. Is the Jeff Porter, who runs the Handbid, right? They started a subchapter for a rare disease that kids get, right? And now that chapter is actually bigger than the parent organization is. And they don't want the parent organization to meddle with their affairs. So they actually spun off from the parent organization and became their own organization because they were able to get better traction than the parent organization was. So you can have a lot of, there's still politics. Just because it's a nonprofit doesn't mean there's no politics. There's still politics. So if that happens, I think we should plan on one of two things structurally to be able to make happen, where somebody can spin off their subchapter into their own account, and two, stop sharing contacts. So just think structurally what would need to happen. We just leave it in place. We don't have to do it for now, but be ready.
And that's fine. But there will be total spin-off. It won't be like, whatever contacts are being shared, let it be shared. Moving forward, I don't want to share anything.
Right.
Either it would be total reverse, or the contact will keep on sharing.
Yeah. No, of course. So when you say do not share my contact information with the parent organization, it immediately cuts off all, not just from today onwards, just everything that is part of the subchapter database no longer is visible to the parent organization.
Right. So there are a lot more complications, and we can talk about that.
Right.
However, my thing is, let's keep it manual until we see that kind of flow. We won't be able
Okay.
to handle
Agreed.
manually.
Agreed.
Right?
I'm just saying that architecturally leave that possibility there, right? Because what you
Right.
don't want is, if it does happen, for us to then take a 3-month project to put something in to make it happen.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, this is basically, mainly we have worked on configuration sharing and how we can provide the information to the chapter and how the subchapters will be able to access the information. The only thing which we are not able to display at the moment is whatever information is being shared, the subchapter will not be able to either edit or delete those records which are being shared. That would be in the portion of subchapter. Other than that, we are working on context sharing. We have stopped the context sharing work for a couple of days just because we wanted to get confirmation from you guys that this is the approach we are going to take, particularly for context sharing. So now we are going to start working on context sharing. At the same time, Rachna has already provided you the credentials. We would like you guys to go through the stuffs, whatever is implemented. Even if you encounter errors, that's fine because it's not the stable build. However, you guys can draft an email and send it across to Rachna, mainly to Rachna, and CC to me and Rakshit, so that we'll keep on compiling, and if we need create PTs, we'll keep on creating PTs to keep track of your observations. And if there is any explanation required, then we'll revert back to you.
Okay.
Okay, Rachna, you there? Okay, I don't think she's
Yes.
able. Okay, am I missing anything which we need to demo?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes.
No, I think I have a couple of screen open. So same like membership, we have got event where in event action menu there will be a chapter setting. That button will show you which all sub-chapters are having this event copied and which are the left out. So a user can anytime go and modify it and copy it accordingly. Another place would be the event dashboard. So on the event dashboard, you will see an extra menu, chapter setting. Again, that is going to provide the same functionality as previous. So I think membership and events are going to have this. And rest, I already shared that on the configuration pages, configuration items, we are going to have an information pop-up which will give us insight over the shared and copied menu. Going towards this is the subchapter that I have created for the demo. Here you can see that will not be having a chapter setting or any kind of option, which any kind of option which enables chapter to modify the existing data. So basically, whichever item has been shared with the chapter will not be editable, and copied item will be editable. That's the simple bifurcation we have. Same goes here. So these are the newly copied items. So those chapter will be able to edit, and if that has been shared, then it will not be edited. I mean, you will not see this added button if these items have been shared for the context source. Okay, any questions for this?
No.
Okay, so I think that is pretty much it. All the options, configuration options, the events, everything which has been selected will be either copied or shared based on what we have selected on the chapter. So I think this was the main part that I wanted to demo.
Okay, only one request. So whenever you have time, just keep on looking into the system because we'll need additional force to QC the stuffs. Because most of the stuff would, come into picture, particularly the most complicated piece, context sharing, which would actually we are planning to be available by 15th December, and we need that particular piece to be thoroughly QA'd because that might impact our existing client when we decide to have the chapters, release. So again, one request, please see if you can have time, then try to run through the chapter settings or chapter piece.
So are you saying that even if somebody does not initiate subchapters, that the context sharing could actually impact
Right.
existing clients?
Yeah. Because that's a structural level change. The way we were dealing with the context, we needed to change everything because of the subchapter implementation. And that's why our target is to test it with chapter settings and without chapters.
Okay. And we don't have a smoke test for it that we can run through?
We keep on doing smoke tests for it. So smoke tests are fine, but who knows what's hidden? So that's what I am trying to uncover.
Okay.
Okay, anything else?
Nope.
Okay, then I'll call it a day.
Okay. Sounds good. Thanks, guys.
Okay, thank you and have a good day.
Thanks, Evan. Good night. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.